All right, I'm going to go through these odds here so that you have a nice video review to get ready for your test tomorrow. All right, so don't forget, we're going to use the formula of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 when we're given two ordered pairs. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, the basics of slope here. We should be able to see that -6 minus a -7 all over -3 minus 2. Well, that's going to become a positive up there. So on the numerator, we'll get 1, and on the denominator, we'll get -5. So -1 over 5. Okay? Now remember to read the directions. I'm not asking to write an equation right now. It's just determine the slopes. So here's a line. They want the slope of the line perpendicular to that. So one of the skills is to talk about perpendicularity. Well, I can't do anything until I'm in what we call slope-intercept form. So I move this one around by getting it into y equals, and in this case, 5 over 2x plus 2. That way I can tell what my slope is. So the answer to this question would be 5/2 for the slope of this line. If we said parallel to that line, we'd say 5/2. But since it says perpendicular, the answer to this question is -2 over 5 because we want to work with the opposite reciprocal. Okay? All right, then number 5 talks about the same kind of stuff with slope, but I'm going to do the x and the y-intercept first. So on number 5, remember this is very important for your test. An x-intercept is the x value when y is 0. So the x value when y is 0. And those are ordered pairs. So we get -3x plus 0 equals 30. And we get x equals, divide by sides by -3, you'll get -10. So the x-intercept is an ordered pair, -10, 0. Likewise, the y-intercept is the y value when x is 0. So we can easily get that. You can see all that's left here is 6y equals 30. So y is equal to 5 when you divide both sides by 6. So we get 0, 5. So there's the x-intercept. There's the y-intercept. Now to answer the slope, it's a little different procedure. Okay, we take this right here and we manipulate it just like we did in that one to get it into slope-intercept form. So -3x plus 6y equals 30. First thing I'm going to do is add 3x to both sides. 6y equals 3x plus 30. Divide by 6 to everything. Y equals 1/2 x plus 5. So there it is. The slope is equal to 1/2. So 1, 2, 3 questions. Whoa, I just realized I was off of the camera. Sorry about that. So I'm going to come back and explain that real quick again. You can see this work. Pause it if you need to. But I'm adding, dividing, getting it into slope-intercept form. So then our slope is 1/2. Okay? Sorry about that. All right, next one here. Next odd, because I'm going through just the odds on this video. It sounds like an odd thing to do. So I'm going to get this. If I'm going to graph it, all it said was graphing. You could graph this using the x and y intercepts for sure, but sometimes those won't come out nice. So what I'm going to do is subtract 2x from both sides. And I'm going to get 4y equals -2x plus 16. Then I'm going to divide everything by 4 because let's be real, slope-intercept form is something we should be pretty comfy with. All right, so then this one right here is that ordered pair 0, 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then rise over run. You can think of this as -1 over 2 or 1 over -2. Doesn't matter. So down and right or up and left. So up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2, down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Then we take our fancy straight edge. I'm looking for one here. And we connect like so. Okay? All right, next one, next odd we have here is number 9. Number 9 here. The question is, are the following pairs of lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So remember, if they're parallel, they're going to have the same slope. If they're perpendicular, they're going to have that opposite reciprocal slope. And then if they're neither, they just have any other combination of numbers, okay? So if it's not same, it's not opposite reciprocal, then we say neither. Well, again, as we're seeing on 1, 2, 3 different problems so far in this video, we need to get comfy with getting into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to just do this in one step. Add 3x to both sides. That'll be 3x minus 5. Divide by 5 to everything. And we have y equals 3/5 x minus 1. And I'm going to block that off right now because I just need to know what the slope is. I need to compare that to this one, okay? So when I minus the 9x from both sides, I get negative 15y equals negative 9x plus 30. Divide everything by negative 15. And then just be careful. Negative over negative is a positive. A 3 goes into both these numbers, so this reduces to 3/5 x minus 2. And the slope of this line is 3/5. So I got a lot of work to do just to be able to answer the question, but the answer is, hey, these are the same. So are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? I would say parallel because of same slopes. Okay, that's my reasoning for that. They are parallel because of the same slope. Sorry, I gotta keep working with that. It's hitting my camera. I'll try to move that over a little bit. There we go. All right. Let's see what else we got in store. That's number 9. So let's go to 11. I believe 11 is typically the odd after number 9. All right, so we're going to write some equations now. All right, so the directions right up there says use the given information to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When you get the hang of this, you should absolutely love anything that says horizontal or vertical. Remember Vux and remember Hoy. Watch how easy this is. Oh, it's horizontal. I'm not thinking of Vux. Hoy means horizontal, slope of 0, y equals. So y equals, and then just take the y value. It is negative 4, and that is the answer. You need to train yourself that when it's horizontal or vertical, that you don't even go into slope-intercept form. We just get that there. All right. So now this one, though, 13, you have to calculate a slope. So like we did on the front, we're going to do negative 3 plus 5, negative 3 minus a negative 5, and then 4 minus 7. Looks like we're going to get a 2 on top, negative 3 on the bottom. Kind of an ugly slope here. That is one checkpoint, just so you know, that I'm looking for when I grade these. Can they get this slope? Then the key for the next part is, even though the problem says go to slope-intercept form, you go into this one. This is that point slope form, okay? So what do we got? We got y minus, and you can pick either one here. I'm going to pick just the first ordered pair. You can pick either one. I'm going to pick the first one. So that'd be y minus a negative 5 or y plus 5 equals, my slope is negative 2/3, and then x minus 7. Okay, that's my next checkpoint. Can the kid go to point slope form? And then finally, the third checkpoint here is, can the student distribute through to get all the way to the final answer? So that will be y plus 5 equals negative 2/3 x. Negative times a negative is a positive. And don't overthink this. 7 over 1, the denominator is just 3. 3 times 1 is 3, but the numerator is 14. 2 times 7 is 14. All right, I won't lie to you. We don't always love fractions. Subtract 5 from this side, subtract 5 from this side, but that's just common denominator. If you multiply this by 3 over 3, that number is really 15 over 3. So common denominator positive 14 over 3 minus 15 over 3 gives us this final answer of negative y equals negative 2/3 x minus 1/3. That's slope-intercept form, final checkpoint. But as you can see, you can earn some partial credit along the way, showing me that you can do those other things. Oh, man, I went off the screen again. Okay, sorry. So that's where my common denominator work was. All right. So I will get better at this, maybe. All right, 15 here. What we want to do is pass through 5, 3 and parallel to that one. Remember, if they ever say parallel or perpendicular and then they give you an equation, the first thing you do with this equation is subtract 2x from both, or get it into slope-intercept form. Specifically here, subtract 2x from both sides. All right, so we're going to divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. Now, this is not the equation. This is not the answer. They say they want an equation that passes through this point and it's parallel to that line. Well, if it's parallel to that line, that means we are going to use the slope of negative 2/3. But we're not using anything else from there. We're using that ordered pair they gave us of 5, 3. So again, if you're wondering what I'm looking for you to realize what the slope is. Checkpoint 1. Can the student then get into what we call point slope form? Checkpoint 2. And then just like that last problem, can we distribute through? So y minus 3, I notice I'm on the screen this time. Pretty cool, huh? Negative 2/3 x plus 10/3. Add 3 to both sides. 3 is the same as 9/3. Right? 9/3 is 3, but common denominator. So the final answer here is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 19/3. And that is the final checkpoint. So can you manipulate this and determine the slope? Can you go to point slope form and then finally to slope intercept form? All right, I told you I'd do all the odds. I will stick to my promise here. Number 17, if you've hung with me this far, good job. Number 17 here is a little bit tricky because we don't know the y-intercept. 16, if you look to the left, is a lot simpler, but this one's a little trickier. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ordered pair here, and I'm going to write it out as negative 2, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, negative 4. Now, I could most definitely take the other pair and then calculate the slope. But to me, that's kind of silly when you can just do rise 2 and run 3. You know the slope is equal to 2/3. Okay? So for number 17 here, there's nothing about parallel and perpendicular. It's just write the equation. So I'm going to go to here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Being a math teacher for quite a few years now, I'm pretty comfy with that point slope formula. So now I got y minus negative 4 or y plus 4, and that equals 2/3 times x plus 2 minus a negative 2, remember? And then last step, distribute through. So y plus 4 equals 2/3 x plus 4/3 minus 4 and minus, again, I'm doing these fractions pretty quick, but 12/3 is the same as 4, right? So find a common denominator for that right side. So I got y equals 2/3 x, and it's going to be a little bit of an ugly number. We knew that before we started, that it doesn't cross at a nice, neat point there. Okay, I hope this helped, and I hope you are getting ready for that test.